This young girl went to see a man she met on a dating app at a short-let apartment for what is supposed to be a good time. However, the next morning, in the early hours of the morning, around 4 a.m., she fell to her death from the balcony of the room that was on the 6th floor of the apartment building. What happened to 22-year-old Consolata Gitinji? Was she pushed? Did she fall? Or did she jump? Consolata Gitinji was a 22-year-old university student, reportedly studying at Muranga University, where she was pursuing a diploma course. They described her as a young student with an active academic life. On the 26th of April 2026, she met up with a 33-year-old man named Tony Odiambo. It was said that Tony and Consolata had been chatting online on a dating app, and they had agreed to meet to spend the night together at an apartment in Kileleshwa, Nairobi, which they say is even far from where Consolata was. Like, she had to travel a distance to come see this man, which meant either the man was important to her or the money was. It's unclear, but one thing is for sure, they were not dating. So this, in lame words, was a hookup. But that aside, this wouldn't be the first time. Everything seemed chill. Maybe they had gone somewhere before they got here, but one of the oddest things that started happening was when they were trying to make their way into the room, which is interesting because for this room that they booked, they only got there by 4 a.m. 4 a.m. That was when Consolata and Mr. Tony got to that room to check in. Ironically, Tony was not the one who booked the room, so someone had booked it for him, and this will come in handy in the investigation because the room was not booked by him, nor was it booked by her. So they were coming into a room that had been previously booked and occupied by somebody that may have been known to Tony. So they get there by 4:17 a.m. as seen on the CCTV footage. There was a guard in the scene, and according to what we saw, it was almost as though Consolata was trying to reach out to this guard, whether to ask him a question or whether or not she was drunk or whether she was trying to get help or signal the guard for something. It's unclear why, and we would never know. The guard did not take notes, and that was not addressed. Immediately after the guard helped them get into the room, he went by his day. Around 4:30 a.m. and 4:34 a.m., CCTV footage noticed shadow from the door of the room down the hallway. So now they can't see what's in the room, but they could see shadows, almost as though there was some sort of argument going on near the door of that room. Could it be that the girl was trying to leave and the guy was refusing her to leave? It's unclear, but the shadow movement around the door itself indicates that something was happening there near the door by that time. But somehow they said the guard came back and went into the apartment again, unclear what he saw or what he went there to do, but immediately also came out by himself, stood by the door a while before leaving. Could it be that he had gone to separate the fight or see what was going on? Maybe he heard the noise and went to check it out. Because why is the guard coming in and going out? Like, what is he coming there for if there was not something that was going on there? However, shortly after the guard left at around 4:46, barely 30 minutes after coming to this hotel, the young lady, Consolata, had fallen to her death from the 6th floor of that short-let apartment. At this point, there was a gap in the CCTV footage. It's not clear what happened in the room or how Consolata fell from the apartment. Her body was later found on the ground floor, leading to the conclusion that she fell to her death, as we've all already pointed out. It was around 6 a.m. that the police and forensic experts from the Kenyan Directorate of Criminal Investigation arrived at the scene, documented the evidence, and began a formal investigation. Tony Odiambo was immediately arrested because clearly he was the one with the young lady, and only he would know, or only he would have done it. And when he was questioned, he said that Consolata was standing at the bedroom window that did not have any iron bars to it, and he couldn't stop her, she just jumped. He even claimed that she had had a self-sabotage thought. I don't use the word, the S word, but she had had the thought of unaliving herself, if you get what I mean. This is what Mr. Tony Odhiambo was telling the police. He's claiming that the young lady, Consolata, had expressed her self-analyzing thoughts to him, which is ironic given that you guys just met. I don't know anyone who is going to, you know what, let's move on. Because I don't know why she's telling him that if they're only just meeting for the first time. If she had had that thought, her friends, close relatives, people who are known to her in school, they would have known. And why would she want to do it here in this your short-let apartment? But this is one thing that has come up. There's finally investigation reveals that the room was not booked by Tony. It was booked by one of Tony's friends. And the friend had previously occupied that room. But what is not clear is if the friend was in the room at the time Tony and Consolata was there. It's unclear if CCTV footage shows the friend leaving, but the day before, that room was occupied by some people who never checked out, and they ended up just giving what's left of the room to Tony and Consolata. What the police, or what is not being said, is if the friend had left or had checked out, and that is what we don't know. Who else would have been in that room at that time? Another shocking thing that was found out, according to what is being posted, is the fact that Tony Odhiambo is a wanted man. According to what is being circulated on social media, according to what they are saying, Tony had an existing rape case from 2025. And back then he was released on bond, but never showed up in courts. This was in an area called Kilimani. So this is away from Nairobi. And since then, he never went back to the Kilimani court, and up until this moment, he has been wanted and they've been looking for him. And that may explain why most likely he wouldn't have used his name to book the hotel, because maybe that would have sent information to the police. But that is not even, that is besides the case. What do you mean he's wanted? What do you mean he has a rape case on his name already from the year before? What does that now do for this incident of Consolata? What does that mean? What happened to Consolata? What did he do to her? And I think the fact that if it's true that he has a previous rape case against him, then unfortunately, it's just one of those things that will play a role in the case of Consolata. I just feel so. Maybe that was the situation. Maybe Consolata did not want to do and he was forcing himself, and he knows that if this goes out of here, he's going to have another case on his hand. And he was avoiding to have another rape case, and so he thought to do what he did. It's just insane. I mean, this is crazy. But at the same time, every possibility should be looked at. The case is still being investigated because Mr. Tony believes that she actually jumped herself. Maybe if she had any issues personally, family and friends could say that. If she was struggling with something, drugs or anything, if it comes up, that could be indicating. But the fact that Mr. Tony has a past crime case, I think that will play a role in how they will see whether or not he actively had a hand in this young woman's death.